fiscal year 2016, number 1 through 26, and number 50,000. D, fundraisers. E, resignations. J.D. Hoskinson, Krista Ellis for paraprofessional position only, not resigning as a bus driver. 3, Jolene Rowling. F, contracts or agreements, which will be the alcohol and drug testing.
Madam President, I have some suggested corrections to the minutes.
Okay.
With regard to the June 11th minutes, my suggested correction would be that on item 17, the words, quote, "so it can be presented in the form of policy language," end quote, be inserted at the end of that item. And then, with respect to item 18, this indicates a motion, a second, and approval of item 19 so you could think that that was meant to be 18, but in fact, we didn't approve the resolution item, we tabled it. And so that needs to read, Jack Cadenhead made the motion, seconded by Nikki Upton, to table item 18 until the next regular board meeting. And those were the only two changes I had with respect to the June 11th minutes. Then, with respect to the June 22nd minutes, I would recommend that we change item 7 to read, Amy Call-Glazier made the motion, seconded by Claudia Willis, to contract with Barlow Educational Management Services, LLC, for the staffing of Mr. Bill Weldon as interim superintendent effective July 1st, 2015, since that's how the motion was made. And if those are agreed upon and voted upon as agreed changes, I don't think we need language. I also have a question, if this would be the appropriate time. Those items that are listed on the encumbrance register general fund for operating year 2014-15, those items with a minus sign in front of them are cancellations, taking them off the books. Is that correct? Okay, great. That's all I have.
Not sure if this is necessary, but I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 11th regular meeting and June 22nd, 2015 special meeting as amended.
Nikki was gone. We did one of them.
I probably can't speak on that.
We'll have to vote on them separately.
Yeah, we'll just vote them separately. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the June 11th, 2015 regular meeting as amended.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Nikki Upton.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Fleischer.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes. And I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 22nd, 2015 special meeting as amended.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Nikki Upton. Stanton.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Fleischer.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes. Item number 4, introduction of guests. I'm
sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion we approve items B through F1 of the consent agenda.
I'll say
Question. Bill, there's a lot of blanket POs in here.
Right.
Bunch of them. I assume that's normal. Does that lock us into using that particular vendor or supplier? Or is it just a preferred?
That's the preferred ones that we've used in the past.
But we can still use somebody else.
Right.
Do you normally bid those out, or how do you go about that? It's just,
No, not typically. Typically, I mean, it goes from one year to the next. The people that you have the best luck with as far as making, ordering supplies and different things.
right.
And that's who we have tendency to stay with. I will say this, though, we try to stay local as much as possible.
Sure. Sure. Okay, that's,
So your motion included B all the way through F.
F1.
F1, okay. So that's the rest of the consent agenda, and I won't speed up too fast. Do we have a, so you made that motion? Roll call, please.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Vicky Upton.
yes.
Amy Cole Fletcher.
Yes. Now, on to the introduction of guests and public discussion by those who request it. We don't have, I believe, votes.
The only thing I'd like to do is just to mention the fact that Mr. Larry Minahan is here, and at a later time in the program, we may want to address questions to him concerning an encumbrance under new business.
Okay, item number 5, administrative report.
In the short time I've been here, I've tried to make as many contacts as possible. A lot of great people in the community, a lot of things that going on, just trying to kind of get my feet on the ground, make sure everything is as smooth as transition as possible, and I think that's the key to it. We've been, of course, obviously, we're trying to complete our hiring process. We still have a couple of positions to fill there. Hopefully, within the next 2 weeks, we can get that taken care of. First and foremost on, my agenda is, and I know it knows everybody else's, is the report. Don't have any, I talked to Steve Ford this morning. They're still waiting on seismic reports to get back to get that completed. With what we've talked about as far as the board's concerned, probably the next available date for the report is going to be the 28th of August. Now, that doesn't answer a lot of people's questions as far as where are we going to be on August the 14th. Well, later in the agenda there's a place here for the board to give me the authority to go ahead and start on Plan B, so that if that report comes out to the point where we have to have classes somewhere else for high school, then we think we've got the manpower and the things to do it with. So Ed's been very instrumental in helping with that process. They kind of had a plan in mind before I came along, so I'm not going to take any credit for it, but I think it's a doable plan. Once again, pending results of that report, which 28th of August, that gives us 2 weeks to make that transition. Hopefully, I'll get some indication which direction we want to go a little bit later on, and we'll start making plans along those lines. So I can't really add to that right now.
Excuse me, Mr. Rowland, you mean 28th, the 28th of July?
I'm sorry, 20th of July, I'm sorry.
that's better.
It's all Ed probably did over there.
Yeah, I was about to say,
We've still got some issues there on top of the structural part that we're still dealing with. We've got some mold in the building that we definitely have to look at, and we don't want to subject our kids or the staff and anyone else to that. So that's something else in the process of seeing to what extent it is and what it's going to take to get that to a safe level. So other than that, I think we've got a great staff to work with, and we've got some new hires coming in and do a good job. We're just looking forward to number one, getting a place for staff school in 14. And once that happens, that's a big load off my plate, so to speak. So, but like I said, we've got a lot of good people, the community, there's been a lot of support there. As far as what we need to do, they're going to be available for us, and I certainly do appreciate that. So I've got nothing but good things to say about Seminole in the short time I've been here, and I look forward to the rest of you. Any questions?
So 6 o'clock on July 20th.
6 o'clock, July 29th. Vacations and everything, that was the earliest available date that we could get everyone here. And, once again, I know that's first and foremost on a lot of people's minds, but we have to do what we got to do here.
And Dr. Ford think we would have the report by
Yes,
July
we would.
28th?
In fact, he mentioned we may get a draft prior to that. It'll come to me in the way of email, and I'll forward that on to y'all, and we'll have some time to look at it. I know the paper is concerned with that. Once again, it's a draft, it's not the final. I'll give them the presentation this one.
Is he on the schedule for that?
Yes, that's fine. Any other questions?
Did you attend the Engage Oklahoma conference?
Yes, I did. I wasn't there for the whole 3 days. But
Yeah, so do we send people to that? I mean, it was open to the public, anyone could go. Do we send people to that and pay for them to go? It looked like a lot of it, so I read through most of it. A lot of it was driven towards counselors and principals and.
Right, it's generally for administrators.
Okay.
Generally speaking, there's a conference later on at the end of August. It's the OSSBA summer conference that is specifically for board members and administrators, superintendents, more so than others. So, yeah, the summer conference for educators, it's free to the public. It's put on by the State Department of Education, and there's a lot of nice, things that are going on. The different breakout sessions that you can attend, with all kinds of everything you can think of. So, but as far as our administrators that have gone in the past, we certainly take care of their expenses on that.
Anything you got from that you want to?
No, not really. There's, like I said, there's everything in the world that you can attend up there, but my primary function is trying to get back in the groove and making the contacts with people that I made contact with our regional accreditation officer in the State Department, and a couple other people in the State Department. So it's all about making the contacts right now and getting back to where they recognize my name and call and our situation is in.
Discussion? Okay. Item number 6, facilities and operations report.
Good evening. We've got a long agenda, so I'll try to be brief. I think all of our projects in all the schools are moving fairly well. We had a hiccup on the ponds at Wilson. Our contractor that we're allowing to do that job has lost his employees. So we've actively pursued some more welders. We haven't found anybody that he's happy with yet. So for right now, it's off. The second bid was dramatically higher than his bid, so we're kind of hung up there. That's the only thing that we're not doing well on. Everything's moving pretty good. Northwood restrooms, like in a nightmare. Every layer we peel back brings another challenge, so we've gone all the way to the studs, and we found out the studs are rotten. So we're basically starting over there, building everything back up, trying to get those sprayed. Now the high school gym restrooms were sprayed. I don't know if you got to see those yet or not, but we've also done the same thing at the gymnasium at Northwood. The restrooms there, they look very nice. I think you're going to be really happy with them. The other ones we could not pull that off. It's pretty expensive, but it may be something that we may be able to do at a later date. For right now, we're just trying to get them built back and get some FRP board on them, get them painted and get them dressed up a little bit. I do have, Mr. Weldon mentioned the mold at the high school. I do have a couple of contractors coming in. One will be in this week to try and help us evaluate what's going on with that, so we can give you some answers on that. But other than that, I think everything's moving on.
Item number 7, consider and take necessary actions to approve the school lunch procurement plan.
This is something, it's just a standard annual event that we have to take care of, to make sure that meals are properly documented, the reimbursements for those meals are in place. So once again, it's just it's an annual thing we have to do for federal programs as far as the food is concerned.
move for the approval of the school procurement plan.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Item number 8, consider and take necessary action to approve the use of the 1080-hour calendar if necessitated by school closures due to weather.
This is something legislature did several years ago, and it's been certainly a blessing for most schools. And in the beginning, a lot of schools were hesitant to do this, but it's an advantage for the schools. Basically, that go ahead and keep a 180-day calendar, and I'm not sure what Seminole is. I haven't looked at that. That hasn't been my concern at this point. But in the case of bad weather, in the years past, if we took off a day, then we had to make that day up. Well, with 1,080 hours, then you've got much more flexibility. If there's a school event that you need to turn out for, then you can, and you don't have to make up that whole day. The way it was earlier, if you took off a day, let's say for a ball game or for a homecoming parade or whatever, then you have to go back and make up that whole day. Well, under this rule, you don't have to do that. You've got the flexibility, and once again, it goes back to local control. So I'm assuming that Seminole's done this for several years, so I would certainly recommend that you continue doing that.
So moved, sorry. I'll second it.
Okay.
Second it.
Roll call, please.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes. Item number 9, discussion and possible action on an employee ethical use of wireless telecommunications devices policy.
Well, I've looked at this, and I think most of you looked at it too. It's something, number one, it's something that, it's a policy we need. The only problem I've got with it, it's hard for me to understand. And I've visited with the board about this, and I think it's kind of a consensus that we probably need to put it in simpler terms where we can explain it to our parents and they understand, and also our students and our employees understand it. Just kind of get to the meat of it and explain exactly what we can and can't do. And I read in the paper, obviously the meeting took place, and even the OEA is supporting, doing this, and we read about it and hear about it on the news all the time. So we definitely need a policy, and we need something to be in effect before we start school. But I think there's enough common sense, or hopefully there is. And every once in a while you run into situations where you can't believe someone's done something like this. But I think it's something we need to continue to work on, and I'll try to have you a policy at the next meeting, and maybe even be at the special meeting. But certainly we need one of these in place for our own protection. I think one of the concerns about the policy is it's so wide open. Who's going to enforce it? Well, I don't think we can expect the principals to enforce all of this. The thing about it is it gives us the opportunity, the ability to, if someone violates this, and there's any type of criminal act that's involved in it, they've signed off on it, so they're totally responsible for their actions. So, it's a legal situation then, and they can't say we didn't tell you so. So, once again, I think it's something we need to look at and have in place when the school year starts. Social media is, well, different people use it for different things. There can be some good in it, obviously there's a lot of bad in it. So we need to use it on a positive note when it's appropriate. And I think that's the key word, is when it's appropriate. And who it's appropriate with. One of the things that I really liked is the fact that it came out that there needs to be a parental consent. If a teacher's going to have the ability to text students, then those parents need to be able to give their approval before that happens. And I know sometimes that's a nightmare about keeping things back from parents, but it's the same way when we put their pictures in the newspaper. Some of these students, parents, and there's not very many that don't put their students' pictures on the front page of the newspaper or wherever, but that does exist from time to time, so we need to honor that. So it would be my recommendation to work on this and have a more easier to understand policy for the next meeting.
Then I would make a motion that we table this until next month's regular meeting.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Kay Levy,
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead,
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier,
Yes.
Claudia Willis,
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 10, possible executive session to discuss the employment of those certified and/or non-certified personnel listed in agenda items 14, 15, 16, pursuant to 25 Oklahoma statutes, section 307B1.
Okay, President Levy, I've got one addition I need to make sure we add to the list. This is someone that I had actually interviewed after the board agenda was posted. So it also needs to be included in this list, Edward Marshall. We're considering Ed for a position, as far as the IT position goes. And so I'd like for his name to be listed in the minutes as someone that will be discussed for possible employment.
Okay. Item 11, consider and take necessary action to convene an executive session.
Does Mr. Wellman have a preference? I don't necessarily feel the need, but I'm willing to go into executive session.
Well,
Any
I
other
think-
board member would like to.
I think it's always been a standard of mine that anytime you discuss personnel, that we go into executive session. It may be for 5 minutes, it may be for an hour and 5 minutes, I don't know, but just for the sake of discussion, and anybody that takes something maybe the wrong way or something said, like I said, I think we need to go into executive session.
I agree.
Okay, do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we convene an executive session for discussion of items 14 and 15
And 16?
and 16. Excuse me.
And the gentleman mentioned,
Yes, any addition? Roll call, please.
Mickey Upton,
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes. Okay, 7:17, and we are, item number 12, consider and take necessary action to acknowledge the retirement of Board of Education.
So moved.
What is the second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Kay Levy,
Yes.
Mickey Upton,
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Okay, item 13, Board President's Executive Session Statement. 7:17, we came back in and we spoke about the items listed, the employment, the possible employment of personnel listed in 14, 15, and 16, and the additional person, Mr. Marshall, that we added. Okay, item number 14. Consider and take necessary action to receive the superintendent's recommendation to employ the certified and non-certified personnel as listed below.
I make a motion that we employ those listed: Brittany Crosby, Laura McClellan, Stephanie Worley, Lincoln Gary, Amber Davis, Randall Watkins, Amy Hunt, for the positions as listed.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Item 15, consider and take necessary action to approve the following extra duty assignments. As listed. Did you want me to read them, or?
Thank you.
As listed.
I would make a motion that we approve the extra duty assignments 15.1 through 15.25 inclusive.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Amy Cole-Frazier.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Jack, did you add Ed Marshall to your 14, or was that?
I have not. I will make a motion that we. Oh,
You did it as a business, okay. Thank you.
He didn't read the name, but
Okay.
but
we did it.
That's what I thought we did on the business, right?
That's fine.
Item 16, consider and take necessary action to reassign Angie Parks from Wilson teacher to Wilson Dean of Students.
I make a motion will you take the necessary action to reassign Angie Parks from Wilson teacher to Wilson dean of students?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Amy Copelager,
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Item 17, consider and take necessary action to give the superintendent the authority to look for alternative locations to hold school next year contingent upon the findings of the engineer's report.
And not add to that, which is part of the engineering report, and also with the mold issue there also.
Okay.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Amy Copelager.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes. Item 18, new business.
New business, my recommendation that we add Ed Marshall as a new IT person on our staff. It comes to us by way of Shawnee, very well thought of there. Lots of good recommendations from him. He'll be an excellent addition to our staff for training and the ultimate result there is hopefully that we can better utilize our technology in the classroom with teachers and students. And it's my recommendation. He's got 3 students that go to school here now. And it's my recommendation that we hire him for the IT position for the 2015-16 school year.
So will his title be technology director or?
14.
Okay.
Well, not technically.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Amy Copelager.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Kay Levy.
Yes. Is that all of the new business?
No, I've got one other thing. I've got a PO, purchase order 1133 to Quinn Scientific Report. You should have that list of that. It's not an itemized list. We do have an itemized list in the office, but this is the total for that amount of $37,228.45. Now, let me kind of give you a little bit of background on that. And I'm going to call on, most of you got something in your packet I gave you from the Alumni Association. Larry came up and visited with me last week, and each year the Alumni Association takes on a project. They were very diligent on trying to make sure this year that it was something along the academic lines. And so the thought originated as far as in our science lab to upgrade that science lab with equipment and the necessary chemicals and things that are appropriate for that particular class as far as chemistry is concerned. So his fundraising, their efforts at fundraising have fallen a little bit short so far. We've indicated that, number one, that's something we probably should have taken care of anyway, but Larry was pretty adamant about that was alumni's, one of their projects, and he wanted to see it completed. And so I take my hat off to the Alumni Association for that. But also, on the other hand, I think we need to help them out as best we can. So whatever funding that they don't come up with, then I think we're going to, my recommendation will make up the difference. So my recommendation is that we approve this amount, and then whatever they bring, whatever they raise, then they reimburse the school. Larry, am I correct there?
That's correct.
Okay. Any questions?
Absolutely agree.
That sounds great.
I make a
Thank you.
motion. I make a motion we approve purchase order number 1133 for science lab equipment.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.
Kay Levy. Jack
Yes.
Cadenhead.
Yes.
Amy Copelager.
Yes.
Have no other new business?
Item 19 is done.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Kay Levy.
Yes.
Jack Cadenhead.
Yes.
Amy Copelager.
Yes.
Claudia Willis.
Yes.
Mickey Upton.
Yes.